What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Hey guys, we got a game in just some hours here.
Yeah, about T-minus 12 hours here
12,
on the East
13
Coast.
hours, yeah. And hey, maybe 14 actually when it comes to the the fact that everyone has to, fall back a little bit when it comes to the hours and the clocks. So make sure you don't forget to put your clocks back an hour. We get an extra hour of sleep today as we prepare for this game, Cowboys at the Falcons, the Week 9 preview for 2024 season. And hey, got a lot of things to discuss here. How we can try to maybe beat this team, the Falcons. There's definitely, some matchups, some keys, and key matchups to watch to try to win this game. But obviously, I believe the Cowboys are facing an uphill battle with all the injury situation we got going on top of the drama in Big D, as there's always something going on. So, anyways, I'll shut up now and we'll just keep it rolling because we got some shout outs to do here on a virtual, I guess it'll be a Fan Friday, Saturday stream here. But let's start off with those that make the board go round, and the man who's running things here for 3 straight weeks, technically for a full month. It is the man, John Luna.
Woo! Thank you so much, Mr. Luna, for your appreciation and love here as the sponsor of the week.
For 3 straight weeks, a three-peat, and also the gifting champion. Big shout-outs to John Luna, gifting champion last week. Last month. It was 20, I think he gifted out. So big shout-outs to him. You can see the board here, not just sponsor of the week or the gifting champion, but also we got King Knight, who's right now the stream boss with 74 points, still in the green on the stream boss, and Pat Pfeiffer, the Cash App Queen.
Woo!
Big shout outs to you and a big thank you. Now we also have some other shout outs to do here for this upcoming week or this current week, and there's a tie at the top, if I'm not mistaken, for the top spot right now, but there is nobody on the Cash App board. Currently, it's completely open, and it's only our second stream of the week, so no Cash App leader as of right now, and there is no Cash App. I'm sorry, there is no gifting leader as of the moment. Actually, if I check here, I think maybe Jet Li might be on the board. I have to double check that, but he may be the leader on the Cash App. But either way, nobody on the gifting board yet or the Cash App board as of this week. But as far as the overall board is concerned, big shout outs to the people in I would say, a virtual tie, right? A 3-way tie. And that's John Luna, A. Lavelle, and Jangly Echo. So,
thank you so much to all 3 of you, of course, representing there.
And Jangly Echo, not Jangly Echoes, but John Luna may actually go for 4 in a row. We don't know. He's in the tie right now for the top spot. And tomorrow, after the game, we will see who wins it and who takes it down for the top spot here. But John Luna, I got to shout out A. Lavelle, because he is back in the silver level membership.
That's right.
And that's what puts him in a tie for first place. Jangly Echoes dropped his love the other day. We also had Darren Posey back in the Navy Blue crew, and he's over there tied for 4th with Gerald Swain, also in the Navy Blue crew, 24/7 Cowboy, and Lost in Translation. And then we'll see who else we get on the board, since this is our second stream of the week. And as we kind of, roll into our big game, again, Week 9, trying to save some of our season here against the Falcons in about 14 hours from now. So big shout outs there, but also big shout outs to the different ways of dropping the love here on MCF, which is, of course, on YouTube. There's the super chat. So it should be at the bottom right of your screen. There's also the thanks button. There's joining the membership, as we've discussed. There's like 4 different levels, and you can check that out, and gifting memberships. But outside of the YouTube way, there's 4 other ways.
Yeah, of course. You see it right there, the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, then Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat does.
That's right. So, all set on that side, and again, since it is a Fan Friday, you got to give extra shout outs to those in the silver level crew, but we do a nightly shout out for those in the star and over everything levels. I mean, cannot do this without your guys, love and support on all the different levels, Navy Blue crew as well. But as always, on Fridays or Saturdays, whenever we go live over the weekend, we always do a special silver level shout out. So, baby, without question, let's do the silvers and beyond.
Thank you very much to Calvin Richard, Justin Coral, ZQ Man, the top dog, Dwayne Broussard, Mr. A. Lavelle, the longest running member here on the MCF side of things.
You know it. And a big shout out to all those guys, everybody in that silver level. But then we also have the over everything, the star level and the over everything level, baby. Who are they?
Thank you very much to LC, Jetly44, Skeptical Fan Always, Staying Skeptical, John Luna representing, and over everything, Sea Bass and Chill Pill.
Hell yeah. Much love to these dominators. And by the way, Chill Pill dominating the After Dark hours as well. So big shout out to everybody on all our membership boards, but specifically to the silver today and that star and over everything. If you notice here, there is a monthly jersey raffle involving the star and over everything level membership. Star level, 1 entry, raffle entry. The over everything level gets 2 raffle entries. And by the way, and it ups your chances, by the way, obviously to win one of these sewn and stitched jerseys. Cowboys, you can see there are all these styles and sizes and players from over the years and to now rookies, and not like Tyler Guyton. But you also have choice of also any team in any sport that we have the player of. So make sure like we got John Luna, the big winner of the last raffle. He's going with a Houston Astros jersey. So big shout outs to everybody who's the big winners on these monthly jersey raffles we do here. And of course, the weekly winners, who we will be crowning after the Atlanta game tomorrow, week 9, in the afternoon. So, baby, without further ado, who is in the house tonight to get some of the shout-outs from the crowd to talk about the Dallas Cowboys?
Unfortunately, Mr. LT.
Eagle fan.
Nothing wrong with you stopping by, but I know why you're here, which is why I said unfortunately.
So, hey, we might have all our guys back for our game versus you guys next week. We'll have to wait and see, though. But,
yes, extra special shout out to the man John Luna here.
Hey.
Much love. And After Dark is technically another another channel. Yes. I'll let Mr. MCF.
It's anything. It's everything but cowboy football. It's basically everything. Politics, freedom of speech, crazy talk. Sometimes I try to get people level-headed and common sense, but it's always an interesting situation. Also, there's YouTube drama stuff going down there. A lot of stuff. It's kind of like an entertainment channel.
Yes,
this is a
Cowboy
our,
factual. Strictly football only.
This is our OG channel. Cowboys talk only. Football talk, but cowboy talk.
Your worst nightmare. Hello and hi. Thanks for coming through. Traveling Fools. Much love. Fins down.
Yeah.
Chris Plumage. Hello. Yes. Win, lose, or tie. Cowboys till I die. You know it.
Yep.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hello and hi. Skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical.
Always.
And he said 41-20 Atlanta. Just play Cooper Rush. Ouch.
Those all hurt every single way.
Freedom first. Looks like you were first here. Much love to you. Shout out. There you go. So as more people trickle in, I'll make sure to do some shout outs like, MCF After Dark. Who's that?
Yeah, hey, there you go.
MCF After Dark 2. Who is that?
Yeah. Subscribe to both those channels, but you got to find them on your own. It's kind of not advertised. We try not to advertise it. You got to kind of want to be part of that, and that's a whole different kind of crazy there. So, anyways, we have fun there. We have fun here, but this year, not too much fun with our Cowboys kind of shit in the bed, so to speak, and playing, honestly, one of our more disappointing seasons that I can remember.
I agree.
Definitely in recent times. By the way, also, there's a new feature they gave us here on YouTube, which we're just trying out. It's basically the goal, I guess. I'm not sure. Just ending the stream with the shout outs. And then they say 10 is where it starts you at. Last time we had it started us at 20, so we moved it down to 10 just for the hell of it. See how this thing works. I don't know if it even matters, but we'll see if they do something for it if it ever hits.
I don't know if something happens if you get it.
Something may show up on the screen. Who the hell knows? Either way, thank you all for being supportive, whether it's in the chat, dropping donations, or just giving us your 2 cents on things. Now, let's get this thing rolling here. I don't know if you're ready, baby.
I'm ready.
I did want to say a couple of the political donations out there. Since we're almost here at the voting time, election day on November 5th, there's a interesting USA Today political donation kind of tracker for NFL owners. And basically, these are donations made since January 1st, 2023 to Republicans, Democrats, or PACs seeking to advance the interest of a specific industry or focusing on a specific issue. And when you look at this, you're looking at the number one contributor, Waltons. All right, Rob Walton from the Denver Broncos, almost $16.6 million to the Republican Party. Second most, our opponent this week, the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank, who's contributed $3.3 million to the Democratic Party. So, you're seeing but it's a big drop off, right? I mean, you're looking at Arthur Blank at $3.3 million, Rob Walton at 16.6, right? So for the opposing parties. But if you look at this entire list, David Tepper from the Panthers, Woody Johnson from the Jets, Penner from the Broncos. Again, it's funny because Penner is also a Bronco, and they are giving money also. Carrie Walton Penner giving $1 million to the Democrats. So interesting how they split it there, 16.5 or 6 for the Republicans. But the point is, in the end, all but this entire list, it's about 20 different owners. 3 of them are supporting the Democrats, let's say, in campaign stuff, and the rest are all supported by the Republican, or supporting the Republican Party. Let me put it that way. But the most interesting thing out of this entire list, in my opinion, is not who and what. We knew the Republicans. The wealthy are usually going to go Republican. That's usually the way it goes, but because of tax breaks and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the interesting thing is that nowhere on this top 20 list is Jerry Jones or the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a very good point.
For either side. So, I mean, the I would say here, the bottom 2 on the list, Arthur Rooney from the Pittsburgh Steelers, $68,000 to the Democrats, while Robert Kraft, the last on this list from the Patriots, gave $58,000 to the Republicans. So, just wanted to give a breakdown there, but no Jerry Jones on this top 20 list. And he's staying out of the politics this time. Interesting choice. Anyways, any thoughts on that, baby? I know that maybe you might have been surprised on that one.
It does surprise me, not gonna lie. But maybe Jerry's just trying to save all that money for the team, right? We're saving it for free agent. Cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Free agent president, if you will.
Yeah, of course. The president of free agency is maybe what we need. But right now, one of the guys that was mentioned.
Maybe Jerry's just happy with the guy they have.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be the answer. You got that right. But there was a guy the Cowboys it was being lightly talked about. The Cowboys might try to make a move for an offensive lineman, a guard, or from the Texans, Kenyon Green. He got injured. I think it was in that Jets game on Thursday night, and he's expected to be out for the season with that shoulder injury he suffered against the Jets on Thursday night. So, former first rounder who the Cowboys liked, and there were a couple teams that actually made inquiries to trade for him. Who knows if it was the Cowboys or not? The Cowboys liked him when there was time in the draft, and if he was drafted eventually, and the Texans got him, and he's been a good, solid offensive lineman for them. So the Cowboys might have been. Who knows if they were interested in someone like him? But he is out for the year now, so no need to worry about bringing him into this team. Now, as far as NFL news, not much to care about there. We're talking about our Cowboys. And I want to start with just a couple facts before we get into, Actually, we'll start with some of the quotes. Maybe that's better right now, because I do want to kind of wait on that. But in case you were wondering about Brandon Aubrey, we talked about the end of that case the other day.
Yeah, so...
It's going to wrapping that up.
Yeah, so it actually wrapped up. Return of Brandon Aubrey from jury duty, and he kind of discussed the whole situation and how it even happened in the first place. Yeah. A huge shout out here, kicking things off.
Much love. Kicking it off on a solid Saturday here. Much love to John Luna with that $20 holler, taking King Knight down to 54 points. And guess what? That puts John Luna in first place by himself, currently on the overall board. What did the man say?
He said, "Here y'all go, so you reach the goal right off the rip. I'm just glad I'm able to support. Y'all are the best, and y'all seem like I would invite you to Thanksgiving to watch the Dallas game."
Oh, man, I don't know if you want that. We'd be pretty
Thank
passionate.
you very much, Mr. Luna. Appreciate you. Yeah, I hope you don't mind. Loud. Yeah, forget fighting over the turkey. We're fighting over the football.
We'd be pretty loud for a Thanksgiving game, but hey, you know that already going into it, right, John?
And thank you very much, John Luna.
Yes,
you are 1 of 10 there. I guess. So I guess I wasn't sure how it worked exactly. If it was a
No, it's
per drop?
Yeah, it's per any. I think it's 5 or higher drop.
Okay.
I think it's what they count as a drop here. So we're 9 away, I guess. Is that what it says? I'm not seeing it on my side yet. Yeah. So either way, brother, we appreciate you, and big shout outs to Mr. John Luna, who, hasn't jumped in the Cash App side. Is the current champion. Nobody is leading in the gifting side, but he's the current champion on the gifting board. I think a 3-time gifting champ, and a 3-week in a row, 3-time in a row, 3-peater and the sponsor of the week. So we'll see how that goes. Right now, he's at the inside track.
And LT, I wish they would do something like that. I don't ever see it actually happening. Saying, that they should cap political donations of $5 per individual, because you see, these owners basically, dropping all sorts of crazy money.
But again, I thought it'd be a lot bigger. You're seeing one guy giving over $16 million, and then the next guy $3 million.
I know. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, though. Yeah. A lot of these guys, these might be just their public donations,
true. They give more behind the scenes.
If you donate to basically, they just run it through shell companies. You donate to this charity who's going to make sure to donate that money to this politician, and then basically end up exactly where we are now.
Yeah, but these are the ones that we know, and publicly that's all we can go by, right? So
honestly, I'm surprised that the NFL hasn't started their own charity, to promote, I don't know, just voting or something. You know what I mean? Like, they'll funnel that money into something else. But anyway. That's more of an after dark discussion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, for sure. And again, hey, listen, we could talk about all that stuff. We definitely talk about that stuff on After Dark, and we're gonna have like a whole political like show, not political show, but on Tuesday night, all through the morning till the morning, we're gonna be doing our our After Dark fun over there, and kind of go through the the state by state as they announce it, and have a lot of guests on and have a little party over there, as we always do.
Yeah, do you agree with James Herr, who thinks, he said if the Cowboys lose tomorrow, season's a wrap?
I mean, maybe this sounds kind of...
I do think it's statistically difficult to come back from tomorrow's loss. The only quote-unquote saving grace is the fact that we basically have not faced any NFC East teams. So there is technically a chance that other NFC East teams could suck, and then we face them, and then we beat them, and then...
Yeah, I mean...
Et cetera, et cetera. But yeah...
Listen... tomorrow, winning or losing, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to hurt some feelings here. Winning or losing tomorrow doesn't really matter. I'm just being honest. Season over, and now, of course, I want to see the Cowboys win. I want to see the Cowboys win and turn it around, and you rah-rah and all that great stuff. And then we get guys back from injury, and one of these days, right? I know we'll get back eventually, Micah and Bland and DeMarcus Lawrence and who the fuck else? It doesn't matter anymore but it's not going to happen.
I see it as a difference between pulling the plug or letting someone live on life support, to speak.
I know, but I don't mind living on life support a little bit more, but the realistic thing is we're going to die. So it's a matter of time. It's when, not if. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm being realistic.
I know.
I'm kind of curtailing my expectations in a much bigger way than I usually have to with the Cowboys, So
I think this... Look, we've sucked before, but even when we've outright sucked, we've never been quite in a position like this, right? Because... Sucking is one thing. What we've produced so far does defy expectations, I think. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah, I'm not counting on any... Even if we somehow get into the playoffs, it's one and done, and that's probably not even going to happen. We're not even going to get to the playoffs.
I know.
So, look, I just want to say this about Brandon Aubrey. When he was asked to serve on jury duty, Brandon Aubrey never thought... He admitted this. I don't know if you have some quotes from him, but he never thought he'd be selected. And we got to remember, guys, he has a sister-in-law who's a DA in Dallas County. He has a brother who is a lawyer. So, again, the probability of him being picked, without having kind of something that would exclude him from this was crazy. And the fact that after all that, also being a Dallas Cowboy kicker, kind of high profile-ish, none of that stopped him from being chosen on this jury duty. But he's back now in full effect.
So it's kind of funny because he said, I pushed back, and when I called to push it back a second time, they wouldn't allow it, and then it slipped through the cracks until it was too late. It was definitely an oh shit moment. I have a DA sister-in-law, and she even said, they'll never pick you with your public figure status. But I disclosed I had a sister-in-law who was in the DA's office in Dallas, and my brother's a lawyer. So I was just kind of told I wouldn't be picked, and I sat there. I didn't really say much. I was definitely surprised when he picked me. And of course he was asked, like, well, what was the experience like? He said it was eye-opening, long, frustrating, depressing. Hearing the story was a sad one. I don't really want to get into all the details of the story, but it was very depressing, dragged on longer than anybody expected it to, and I'm so glad it's over.
So even though he finally got to experience that, not the experience he was maybe hoping for.
I mean, no offense, I feel like part of the reason why he obviously had to go through with it, outside of the fact that you have to because he was selected or whatever, like, can you imagine how embarrassing it might have been for his DA sister-in-law or his lawyer brother to, like, oh, my brother skipped out on jury duty? So,
good point.
Just saying, like, family pressure maybe. But hey, Brendan Aubrey did his civic duty. We appreciate him for it. And the worst part is, it didn't even matter because McCarthy never unleashed him.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, we never really got to see how much it impacted him or not because, we never really went for it in a significant way. So there you go. At least when it came to the field goals. Yeah. Anyway, that was it from Brandon Aubrey. I don't know if you want me to touch on...
Well, I mean...
Look, we've heard it for the last 3 weeks straight, no offense. But Dak Prescott has basically said some version of, this week we figured it out.
Yeah.
Between him and CD. He said once again, like, oh, this is a must win. As far as his interceptions, he just said, I've got to be better. Simple as that. But he did supposedly say that there was a moment in last Sunday's game where CeeDee Lamb told Dak, like, oh, we're back. And it was right before those 2 touchdown catches. So it seems like they both feel like they're finally on the same page as they're heading into this week. I don't know if I would use last week as the example of them being on the same page, but hey, CeeDee Lamb said it himself. He's like, we play confident and fast, and we can score with anybody. I feel like that's been our thing. We get to the red zone, and we just don't put up enough points. Finishing our drives, ending our drives with 7 and not so much 3. We love Brandon Aubrey. He's taking care of us a lot, so we're trying to give him an off day.
Yeah.
And again, I do appreciate that kind of energy. CeeDee Lamb throwing this out there too, since we've talked a lot about the secondary. Like, at least on our side, he's talking about the Falcons secondary on their side, saying the boy's nice. They got a young group back there, and Jesse Bates is playing his best ball, obviously. Being in the same class as A.J. Terrell, and he's a hell of a corner. Tall, lengthy, he's got ball skills, and very aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, guys, when you look at the secondary for the Falcons, and we'll touch on them in a minute, towards the breakdown and keys, Mike Hughes, if I'm not mistaken, that's a former UCF Knight there, but Mike Hughes is a cornerback with A.J. Terrell, who's a top guy there, into the slot, D. Alford. They got Antonio Hamilton Sr., they got him there as a nickel back as well, nickel cornerback. And in safeties, Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. I mean, they got a good secondary. Now, are they beatable? Yes, but they got a good secondary. So CeeDee Lamb's looking forward to that battle against the Falcons. So, anything else said by the players, maybe?
We do have a little Trayvon commentary. I don't know if.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on...
It just, again, so we heard about it a few days ago that he showed up with a sudden and mysterious calf injury, right? Wasn't really told what was going on. Then we find out it's a tear. He's got a freaking tear in his calf. What? Super random, but I guess some slightly positive news, though. McCarthy did say that Trayvon still remains a game-time decision, saying that there's specific drills that he needs to do tomorrow.
That was earlier in the week, right? I'll give you an update on all that stuff. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, but it's a tear, so that's not a good thing.
Yeah, but Trayvon said that he personally feels, confident.
Yeah.
But of course.
Yeah,
we've heard
confident.
that before.
Yeah, confident don't mean anything if you have a tear. That's,
but he did confirm that it wasn't just like soreness or whatever; that it was a small tear in his calf. So just letting you know, as far as players, that was it. I'm just saying, like I said,
I thought Zach Martin had said something about
no, Jerry Jones said something about Zach Martin.
All right, so let's hear it up. What did old Jerry say before we get into? Oh, I mean, is it Jerry time yet? I don't know.
I don't think it's quite Jerry. I mean,
okay.
You asked me, you thought Zach Martin spoke. I was just telling you who actually spoke about Zach Martin. Okay. Not that now's the time to talk about what Jerry said about Zach Martin. Right. I actually wanted to touch on what McCarthy said about Dak first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Since he's talking about, again, I think it leans into the whole offensive system situation that's been happening. So at least to McCarthy, he said that number one, this system is built on making the quarterback successful. That's the way I learned to do it 30 plus years ago. So everything we do is built into that. Obviously, the starting point of making a quarterback successful is running the football, and so we can start right there. We need to get more production out of the run game, increase the action pass opportunities, and from that, take it to the next step. And that's pass protection and then the pass perimeter. It's about making him, as in Dak, successful. If anything, I would guard against asking him to feel like he has to do more than he's already doing. He just needs to really focus in on playing quarterback. He's a great worker, super diligent, and we'll get to where we need to go.
You know, I was going to use this as one of my breakdowns, but this is kind of going to lean into this. First of all, McCarthy just said it himself that he, it's passing, quarterback. It's the quarterback. I know it's about the run and the play action and all that stuff as well, but he was talking about play action. To me, this is going to be the last season for McCarthy in Dallas, all right? In this game and throughout the rest of the season, what does he have to lose in trying some new shit on offense and being a little bit more proactive in being a little, I don't want to say tricky, but let's just say, being a little more, a different approach going into these next couple of weeks.
The problem is that, I'm sorry, but you heard McCarthy right there say in basically 3 different ways that a big part of it comes down to motion in one way or the other, and yet the one thing we consistently keep not seeing is motion.
Well, and that's my point, is that the fact that McCarthy, in my humble opinion, he should not be afraid, although I can't change what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. I just believe the bitch ain't going to do anything here but just take the L and get kicked the fuck out of Dallas. Then if you want to at least, I'm trying to say this is what to do. If McCarthy, I know he's saying it's a passing league. It's about Dak, the quarterback, whatever it may be. The thing is, it's up to McCarthy to come up with the plays, the calls that adhere to that mindset. Now, don't just make it predictable passes or predictable runs, or use the wrong guy to run inside or outside, or the wrong guy to throw to in your game plan. On certain down and distance situational football. So McCarthy should not be afraid to try a wilder approach to inspire some kind of offensive, uprising earlier in the game, not in the fourth quarter when we're down by 25. I'm saying this, we should be doing this earlier in the game, attacking in that ferocious kind of attacking way. We're not doing that. We're taking it way too easy for 3 quarters, running it the old McCarthy kind of way instead of the freeloading, let's go, quick huddle, Dak Prescott takes over kind of way. If you're going to throw the ball, then throw the ball that way. Don't throw the ball in the fourth quarter and you're desperate now. And the defense knows, and they're still playing press, and you're able to still do pretty well with Dak Prescott, even in a bad game. So why don't you do this the whole game? I'm not saying you can do it consistently a whole game. Why don't you throw these elements in the first quarter? Drip in a couple. The second quarter.
McCarthy has to say
third
that?
Quarter. Yeah. Well, listen. The thing is this: you're not going to expect different results by continuing to do the same goddamn things. The Cowboys cannot run the ball, and if the Cowboys are not running the ball, and they keep CeeDee Lamb as the only reliable weapon for Dak Prescott, what does that mean for this offense? The Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb is the third leading receiver in the NFL, 613 yards. To find the Cowboys' second leading receiver, you have to look at what? Jalen Tolbert? He's 57th in the NFL, McCarthy. He has 334 yards. Tight end Jake Ferguson, he's the Cowboys' third leading receiver with 263 yards. He's the 78th leading receiver in the league, pass catcher. The Cowboys' offense requires creative and daring variations, not from Dak or from the running back. It's from him, from McCarthy. So turnovers as well. And I'm just throwing this in there. I don't know if McCarthy understands, but our turnover differential is horrible. Turnovers are killing the Cowboys. Cowboys are third worst in the NFL with -8 turnover differential. Only the Vegas Raiders and the Tennessee Titans have worse at -13. So the Cowboys, giving up 9 interceptions and 4 fumbles. So we'll see what happens against the Falcons, and we'll talk more about that. But I just wanted to throw that in there to McCarthy's comments about things that need to change, and we're going to go in the air. If we're going to go in the air, we're going to have to use the things that actually help us in the air, not the things that have, unfortunately, been consistently hurting us. And that is playing a very conservative, predictable game plan in the first 3 quarters, and the fourth quarter opening it up, and then even against press defense or pressure defense, blitzing defense, whatever it may be, it's not garbage yards. Even in those situations, Dak's able, and this offense able to move down the field when you open things up a little bit more freely than static 3 quarters of football. no motion, no snapping the ball in motion. That's the kind of shit that if you don't change that, we will continue to be a below average team and sputter to third place in the division. And McCarthy's going to embarrass whatever is left of his legacy as he leaves leaves the Dallas Cowboys fired.
Right.
And that's all. It's facts. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
Skeptical fan said McCarthy needs someone to help him update his playbook. John Luna said, how is McCarthy not seeing what everyone else is seeing?
It's almost like he's stuck on his way of doing this.
My little joke in the chat was just that basically back in the caveman days, they ran the ball just like this.
Yeah, that's the way. Jerry's used to that.
LT said, I think Dak is either hurt or scared to be hurt. His running could open y'all up, but hey, I'm just a hater. Carry on. So
we actually brought that up last show, right?
We've brought this up.
And you brought it up for a very long time.
Way too long. But it basically boils down to a few different things. And the injury situation is definitely a factor. Since Dak got hurt, he has hesitated on running himself the same way. But yes, it comes down to a schematic point.
We broke this down literally the last show. And you remember what happened? What was said was, even though it is on Dak and the injured leg and McCarthy and some schematics and Kellen Moore, maybe not using him after that broken leg, but guess who was the one that made the decision? And he said it himself. It was Jerry Jones. We just did a stream on this. Jerry Jones himself said, I wanted it this way. I don't want. Basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but he doesn't want Dak running as much because he's a $60 million quarterback and he's afraid he'll get hurt again. And that is what Jerry Jones said. It comes from him, and then it goes from him to Stephen Jones down to Mike McCarthy to Kellen Moore, or right now to whoever Mike McCarthy is the coordinator as well. The play caller with Schottenheimer. But I'm saying my point is that is for the guy who's making the decision about Dak. It's Jerry Jones, the guy who paid Dak. And said, no, I don't want him running.
MF Doom literally came in. He's like, Jerry don't want Dak running.
Exactly. And it's not just us saying it. Jerry Jones literally said it in his last. And he said some other stuff this week, but before the Wednesday stream on Tuesday, he said this. Jerry Jones. He said they don't want Dak running the ball. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. That's what he said because of his injury, and he's getting paid that much money. He wants a quarterback throwing, not running.
And so, of course, when Jerry Jones says that, what do you think McCarthy's going to do?
Or Kellen Moore, or any of these guys. They're gonna follow suit.
And when you have years now of Dak post-injury not being schemed to run and not
being given the ability to run.
What do you think his first thought and action is going to be? I can tell you right now, it's not going to be run.
Exactly, it's not.
So
and that's where we're at.
We have, unfortunately, Jerry has done a great job of beating the natural desire to run out of Dak. So, Great job. Congratulations, Jerry.
It's unfortunate.
So, and remember.
That's what makes Dak $60 million is partially because he's a dual threat.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm like, look, you don't want Dak running every time. You don't want Dak running even that much. Fine. But if you remove the mobility, the ability for Dak to keep teams afraid of him running away with it, you basically just shot yourself in the foot. And we haven't even taken a snap on the field. But we'll continue to get to that in a minute because Jerry, like you said, he said other stuff too. I don't know if you want to touch on a few other things before we start with the Jerry Jones comments of the day.
Well, I'm excited to hear what Jerry had to say, and I'll get into the breakdown of the game and the moves and the roster. I don't know if you have anything on that. Hopefully not. If you do, you got to hold up on those parts.
If
you know what I mean. Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not much.
Okay. Well,
but.
So then
John Luna asked, what if the guys didn't do what Jerry says and then they just started winning? You would be fired.
Yeah, because remember, the one thing, John Luna, the one thing that we know from Jerry Jones is that he wants to do it his way. He would rather lose the Jerry Jones way than win a Super Bowl the McCarthy way. That's partially why Jimmy Johnson got fired. It was being done with Jimmy Johnson getting too much credit, not giving enough credit to Jerry.
Parcells decided to say, "I am not staying."
He had a 4th or 5th year option on this contract. He said, "Bye-bye," and that was after giving that game to the Seahawks with Romo's missed snap there. So I'm just saying, we had chances, we've had ability to overcome the front office, but they just keep getting in the way. And this is the problem for 28 years of the Cowboy franchise. We got one good move by Jerry Jones. Hey. That was too good. By the Cowboys, what he did was he put Jimmy Johnson as GM and the coach. And after Jimmy was gone, he got Deion Sanders. Outside of that, It's just everything else has been just failure after failure.
Yeah, even
from the
Jason
Joneses.
Garrett made a comment, I believe it was last week, basically straight up saying, like, you have to be real. As the coach of the Cowboys, you have to understand, like, I don't think you guys understand how involved, like, you think Jerry's just in board meetings or whatever. He's basically admitting that no, Jerry's on the field.
Constantly
Jerry's
involved.
in the meetings.
Yeah.
Jerry's like looking at the football players
Jerry's
practicing.
trying to.
Jerry basically thinks of himself as a head, like
head
someone
coach, yeah.
who knows football well enough to be a head coach.
And he's not.
He's just cursed to have to be the owner and the GM, so he can't be the head.
Yeah,
you get what I'm trying to say?
And that's the problem with Jerry Jones. He's delusional, and that's where we're in that situation. It pains us to have to speak the truth about this, but we've been saying this for years, so it's not a big stretch for us. Since 8 years ago.
Yeah, like
on this
forget
channel.
backseat driving. Jerry's like front seat driving from the passenger
horrible.
seat.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's like a drunk guy just who's in charge of a company just pulling levers. I mean, that's what it feels like sometimes with Jerry Jones. So anyways, let's hear what that old guy had to say about our Cowboys.
Well, let's pull the lever, so to speak. So we'll start with the offense here. Jerry Jones is obviously noticing, Dak, CD not exactly starting off on the best foot, and just our offense in general being a bit off. But Jerry said that he didn't mind that CD Lamb held out for his new contract during camp because he said it prevented him from getting hurt or suffering any injuries.
He had made that mention once before in the past.
Jerry also added in their quote, they spent a lot of time in the offseason, a lot of time throwing the ball back and forth, and they had a lot of rhythm. Frankly, I think they've been on the same page.
He's talking about the Dak yard and again the off the site practice.
We're reading encyclopedias. We're not even on the same letter, but sure. I mentioned this already as well as far as the Trayvon Diggs situation. But Jerry did say that he's not sure if Trayvon's going to miss this Sunday's game. As of now, we heard from those comments by McCarthy earlier. He will be a game time decision because Jerry did speak before McCarthy spoke. He did say that Diggs said his calf was still a little sore coming out of Sunday's game, and that he's still getting treatment on it. Yeah. So Jerry was actually the one who confirmed that it was a tear in his calf, by the way,
not Trayvon.
So
and that was literally like yesterday he had confirmed this.
Yep. As far as the Cowboys doing anything significant before next week's trade line, Jerry Jones said, if I see something, we look for all the meat on the bone that we can improve our team.
And of course, you said trade line, but the trade deadline is which is November 5th, Tuesday, election day. But yeah, that's it. Guys, don't get your hopes. I don't care. I know some channels out there that are going to tell you, hey, this guy we can get. That guy. Cowboys ain't doing any of that shit. They're saving that money to blame it on Dak and CeeDee Lamb, to say that they can't get anybody because they got to pay them for the next 15 years. So, same bullshit.
This isn't like the Amari Cooper timeline where we're just like one piece away from maybe doing something here. Yeah. So, Jerry Jones, did even he seem shocked, surprised, and flabbergasted the way that I'm shocked, surprised, and flabbergasted.
I gotta admit, I just jumped. But we got some memberships being gifted. It looks like I'm looking in the chat. It's 5 gifted memberships by the man, John Luna.
Woo!
Big shout outs. The new leader on the gifting board right there, just like that. With a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and passed out 5 gifted memberships. Who are the lucky winners, baby?
Oh, he said W. Robinson, Derek El Duro 94, Chris Smalls, The Bears TV, and Queenie Nighttime Magic.
Oh my God, even Queenie got in here. Jesus Christ!
Thank you so much,
big shout
John Luna, for showing that love there.
Yes, John Luna. Not just in first place on the overall board, but also first place on the gifting board, trying to go back to back like not his Cowboys, but our 90s Cowboys. The era we were just talking about in Jerry Jones' only good moves was getting Jimmy Johnson and getting Deion Sanders. That's it. Everything else is just clout for him.
Now, Lost in Translation is
thank you, John Luna.
Saying that, he thinks that we left the trash at home, and so now this team is actually going to maybe, at least the offense is going to look a little better.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, we'll get to that.
I have to be honest, I will be extremely disappointed if we show that much of a significant improvement, not because of who we have active, but because of who we left home. Does that make?
I have a couple. We'll get to that in a minute. You see it in our title about Zeke. But yes, I want to finish what Jerry was saying. Yes. I don't know how much we got, but big shout outs to John Luna there. extra shout out to him. He's been such a gifting person here on the membership
Showing
side.
The love
him
to
and Chill Pill have been dominating it. And before that, we know a Skeptical Fan and Jet Li. So again, thank you guys. Have been gifting memberships. One of the best ways to drop the love here. You have to be in the membership to be able to gift memberships.
Yes.
But appreciate those that have done that. Big thanks. What did Jerry gift to us in words?
This pissed me off a little bit.
Oh, here we go. What did he say?
I think we're having a rougher go than I anticipated.
Of course.
It is rougher, and I did not anticipate the challenges that we're having with this team. He says that he's having a tough time getting past the -8 turnover ratio. It points out that, we already turned it over 13 times after turning it over 16 times the entirety of last season. So he said it's really a plus that we've won 3 games. Let that sink in for a moment. Even Jerry's sitting here saying that with these type of stats, like, damn, we're lucky to even have 3 wins.
He's like, we're so bad, we're lucky to be 3 wins. 3 out of 7.
And the way that these numbers are keeping up, we're going to basically double our turnover ratio from last year. Fun times. And the final kind of Jerryism I have here, which is one of the few things that I thought actually freaking mattered here. He touched on the fact that Zach Martin and Terrence Steele are obviously not having the greatest year currently.
That right side of our offensive line.
Jerry said, quote, well, I think we're having a rougher go. Let's put it that way. Let's not just couple that with those two. But having me in the loop, it has to be there. It is rougher, but I am reminded of teams that I've seen that have had a lot of success, and they've put themselves in a position to take a shot, and they were 3-4. When I look at the whys that were here, I really have a tough time getting past just the sheer youth, the sheer inexperience in the offensive line, and I have a tough time getting past that turnover ratio. I'm telling you, when you look at that and you know what turnovers are due for you, oh man, it just really is a plus that we've won all these 3 games. So, and again, the main point there is just, again, like I said, Jerry expressing incredulity that we have even gotten to this point. And he did basically just kind of briefly mention, like, he didn't really touch on the Zach Martin aspect of it, mainly on the more, he completely ignored the question now that I realize it. Because he was asked about Zach Martin and Terrence Steele, and he basically just said, well, the problems on the O-line is just how young the O-line is. Like, just how incredibly young and inexperienced
Focus on Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe.
Now, like I said, the only truth here is, like I said, that Jerry is genuinely surprised that we're doing as bad, because I do think in his little pea brain, he thought this team would somehow do better, even though he just acknowledged the fact that our O-line is basically
young
2 veterans with 3 infants.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's it, like I said, from the Jones side of things, and we already heard from our players as well. So,
I mean, you all caught up on that side. So, any quick thoughts on the chat? What's up in the chat?
Let me see. John Luna said, I have to run. Did want to leave by gifting a few memberships. Take it easy, brother. Man. Again, much love. Have a great one.
Big shout out to John Luna.
Yes, guys, make sure to adjust your clock.
Yes.
DFW Country said, I think we can all agree they should have let Dak play out the season.
That's something that we could have, if the Cowboys could have even waited. Here's the thing about that comment. If the Cowboys waited until the day of the first game of the season for the Cowboys to get him his contract, they might as well waited to the middle of the season. And the thing is that the Cowboys should have done the deal. If they're going to do the deal at the first day of the season, literally the first game, they should have done the deal on March 30th. And my point is that the Cowboys did everything backwards.
It's just weird in between where Dak's deal either had to get kind of worked out early enough in the offseason, or at that point, like you said, you might as well just kick that can down the road and wait till next year, just because if not,
go to 65
you
million?
end up where we're at currently.
In the middle of the year, it's not going to go to 65 million. Exactly. So you might as well go 60 million now, 60 million in week 10. Right now, he wouldn't be getting 60 million. I'm telling you that. Right now, it'd be a different discussion. And by the end of the year, he'd be getting 50 million. You know what I mean? Like, That's the bad management of the front office. It's not about Dak. It's about the front office.
Yeah, I've been lost in translation. GM. Yeah, there is no one leading in the locker room. It feels discombobulated, especially with the number of injuries on the defense and the D-line. Just because, let's be real, Tank was still a big leader on this team. Micah, well, not a leader, was definitely a big part of the heart of this team.
Listen,
so for both of these guys to be where they're at now, you feel it.
let me continue this. Let me take the baton here, baby, if you don't mind, and take this torch and continue it, because this leads me to the moves the Cowboys made literally today at running back. And that's going to start with elevations for tomorrow's game, all right? So who's getting elevated for tomorrow? Remember, guys, Rico Dowdle missed last week's game against San Francisco, but he's good to go with the flu. He had the flu last week. Now he's good to go for the game. So the Cowboys, though, still decided to elevate running back Dalvin Cook for his second elevation of the season from the practice squad. He has one more elevation, and the Cowboys got to decide. It's 53-man roster, or he's going to stay in the practice squad until either someone plucks him off or playoffs,
I have the feeling we're going to see Dalvin Cook on the official roster any day now.
So, the story continues because, we'll get to that. The other guy that elevated the Cowboys, and this is also interesting, you talked about some injuries. We're going to talk about some injuries as well. But Cowboys elevated a cornerback, and his name is Josh Butler. We've had him on the 53 last year. He had to be brought up eventually. But we elevated him last year a bunch of times. He's kind of that fringe 53rd player, 54th player guy that can play special teams but can be our fifth corner. But that means we got a problem at cornerback, if you know what I mean. That means we're light at cornerback. So I'll get to that in a minute as well. But that by elevating Josh Butler, and we know DeRon Bland, Trayvon Diggs, they're out or questionable with injuries.
Light at cornerback is such a pretty little euphemism to say that we're getting bent over at cornerback, but sure.
Well, and the thing is, we are basically screwed at corner. But the one surprise, I guess you can say, is this: Josh Butler was taken and elevated over Keemon Hall, who was very good in preseason, very good in training camp, and he's also on the practice squad as a cornerback. Was not taken. He was a ball hawk in training camp. He had some picks. So I'm just saying, like, he was actually involved in a lot of the playmaking stuff. But the Cowboys went with Josh Butler, who's not really a playmaker. So interesting little switch up there. But the Cowboys went with Josh Butler and Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook is important because, yes, Rico's back. Dalvin Cook will be on the field. Deuce Vaughn will be on the field. But you know who won't be on the field? Ezekiel Elliott. What happened? Guys, today we found out that Zeke will not be active. He's already an inactive. We already know one of the inactives for tomorrow, and his name is Ezekiel Elliott. We know a couple of inactives, actually, but Ezekiel Elliott will not be active against the Falcons tomorrow and will not make the trip to Atlanta with the Cowboys. And why is this? There's been an issue with the Cowboys and the coaches, front office, whoever. Disciplinary reasons is what's been given. This is according to a source. Now, first time he's a healthy scratch in a non-season finale in his career. Of course, he's been a healthy scratch at the end of a season when we didn't need him or whatever it was.
I saw first some people kind of speculating that they think that Zeke's days are numbered here in Dallas now.
Something happened. We don't know what it is, but let me continue the story because I got a little information. So again, we know last week, what was the situation last week? Last week, Zeke was going to be the third running back. It was going to be Rico Dowdle, Dalvin Cook, and Ezekiel Elliott. Those are the three guys it was supposed to be until Rico Dowdle got the flu, and then Zeke jumped to the starter. Dalvin Cook stayed second. Deuce Vaughn stayed third. So, or jumped into third there for Zeke. So again, that was last week. Now this week, all of a sudden, he's made inactive. He was told he was made inactive. So what happened, right? And right now, when you look at Zeke, he's currently the Cowboys' third leading scorer for the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And he ran a touchdown against the Niners last week. He got a TD against the Niners. So that means this week, without Ezekiel Elliott, that means you're going to have Rico Dowdle, Dalvin Cook, and Deuce Vaughn, along with Hunter Lipke as the four backs for this game. But let's go back to Zeke for a second. What the hell happened, right? So, a lot of people scratching their heads because no information was really released on what went down. But according to a couple sources here, Ezekiel Elliott was told that he would be inactive for this game. This is what happened. This is the breakdown of what I'm hearing. I don't know if you heard about this, but the breakdown is that he was told today, Zeke, you're going to be inactive for this game. So basically, travel with us, but you're going to be dressing in your, in your sweat, in your sweatsuit outfit, Yeah,
you're not going to be active.
You're in street clothes. So Zeke, you're not going to be active. You're inactive for Sunday's game, and that's kind of what was said to him. He was not happy with that, and a mutual decision was then made that he does not accompany the team to Atlanta. So he didn't want to show up there in street clothes. He just said, I'm not coming then. I'm not going to go to the game if you want me to go in street clothes. I'm not saying that's what he said. I'm saying that's basically what happened. Yeah. Obviously, Zeke's reaction to the news prompted this, quote unquote, I put this in quotes, in air quotes, but this mutual decision. The fact that Zeke decided he's not going now. It's like, okay, well, we weren't gonna put you in the game anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, thanks for not, like, you're just making a problem, a bigger problem out of something, right? And so, I want to make sure we're clear as well that a mutual decision by Zeke and by the Cowboy team, front office, coaching staff, whatever, doesn't exclude disciplinary reasons, which is what they gave. They never said Zeke's side kind of thing is saying it's a mutual decision. But it sounds like it was a disciplinary action by the Cowboys organization. That's obviously means Jerry Jones, McCarthy, that side of things, right? So now, both these things, it could be a mutual decision and also a disciplinary action. Both these things can be true. And I want to say kind of two last things on this. Whenever Zeke was going to be made inactive or was going to be reported on this tomorrow, it was always going to be probably a big story. The fact that Zeke was inactive. Oh, my God.
I know.
Only the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and this front office could turn it into this controversy and make it into a bigger story. They made a big story into a bigger story, in my opinion. And one last thing. You were just talking about this, baby, about leaders on this team. This is one of the guys that was brought here to be a leader, and he's not going with the team. That's not a leader. So, again, player I like to put this in kind of ironic terms, but player that was signed in a large part for his vibes, his ability to be in a position of influence and as a leader in the locker room, has been basically benched for disciplinary reasons and said it's a mutual decision and I don't want to go there to the game. Like, that's not showing leadership either. If they benched you, or if they made you inactive, then, in my opinion, even as a leader, you would still travel with the team and support your teammates.
I mean,
Zeke did not do that, and
can I add my
things are going great.
Speculation?
Things are going great in Dallas at the running back spot there with our leaders and Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead, baby, you hit him up.
Even putting let's bring it back to even just like the practical football side of things, like just the football side of things. So my assumption here, based on the information that's being reported, is that Zeke was told he was going to be inactive. And then instead of, like you said, being mature, being a leader, handling it, supporting the team, doing anything, he chose violence. And ended up doing something, saying something that got him the disciplinary slap on the wrist. Because Zeke being inactive, let's be real, we already were asking last week, what are the Cowboys going to do exactly? We're going to run 4 backs. We're going to make Deuce Vaughn inactive. Like, basically, we're just kind of speculating over their options. Rico Dowdle getting sick last minute and basically taking himself out ended up clarifying all that for the Cowboys, right? Solved their problem. But we knew they were only kicking that can down the road in the sense of, okay, now that you have all these guys, like, what exactly is your plan? What are you going to do? Yeah. And, well, the plan was to bench Zeke, and Zeke, I don't think, took it very well.
Again, I want to reiterate. I see Matt Batt in the house. But just so you know, Matt, Zeke was last week, of course, was going to be the third running back, not benched, but the third running back behind Dalvin Cook and Rico. Rico Dowdle got sick, and then you say he kind of resolved itself. But when he went out, Zeke jumps to the starter role. Yeah. Dalvin Cook second, and then we had Deuce Vaughn as a third. This week he went from that starter role all of a sudden. Again, right? Got it back last week. Got a touchdown. People were saying he's our third leading scorer on this team. Mm-hmm. And then he got dropped to being inactive, which he got pissed about. Said, I'm not going to fly with the team if I'm going to be inactive. So, and that's where. And then the team had a disciplinary action stated. They said that they had, and he's not coming with the Cowboys to Atlanta. So the Zeke side saying it was a mutual decision. The Cowboys organization side say it was a punishment of some sort. And that's where it's at. But my point is, this is the guy that Cowboys signed to be a leader on this team in an offense. And he's right now showing none of that leadership. And I don't know, maybe he was promised something that the front office is not giving him now either. We don't know what it involves.
I'll
but
be very curious to
it's
see
definitely
what
an issue.
information comes out as far as what action Zeke took that made it a disciplinary action.
All I know in the end, it's just another problem to a very bad season, and that is.
Do you think this is another one of those? Was it John Stevens Jr. or something who had who was that one guy with the ankle injury that he came up?
No,
and
the wrist injury. Jordan Phillips.
Jordan Phillips. There we go. We're basically, is this going to be another Jordan Phillips
Who
situation
knows?
where
I mean, at least Jordan Phillips is.
Jerry's claiming one thing, and then they're going to come up and say,
At least Jordan Phillips is pretty much accepting it for the most part, and Zeke. He's not even going. He's on a higher, situation. He's like for Jerry Jones, this is a guy he drafted. This is a guy he gave us. In Jerry Jones' mind, I gave him a second chance.
Yeah, so he's worth more because
exactly. Of that. Jordan Phillips is a guy they traded for. So.
Ooh, Matt Pat, much love. Yes. Take it easy. Sick Aguilera 4. Hello and hi, saying Jerry needs to go ASAP.
I wish.
This is all him.
It is. A lot of this is him, and he wanted Zeke here. Sometimes, chickens coming home to roost. You ask for you get what you ask for here. Now, injury-wise, with Zeke, he's not playing this game. He's inactive, which means Rico's playing. We told you about he's going to be our starter. It sounds like Dalvin Cook's, he is elevated, but he will be the backup. And then Deuce Vaughn and Lipke will be our third and fourth guys in there. So that's that side of things. What about cornerback? I told you Josh Butler. Josh Butler was, elevated, a cornerback, not Keemon Hall, which I think was would have been more of a playmaker type guy. But why? Because of our injury situation. We talked about Brandon Aubrey. We know that he had missed some practice, but he was full practice after the jury duty, and he's good to go for this game. Same thing with Kalen Carson, which is great news at cornerback. Full practice all week. No game time designation, which means Kalen Carson's playing. He's playing at cornerback this game, which you haven't seen him since week 2. So that's great news. And, when it comes to everybody on the injury report, that's pretty much it. Everybody else had either a questionable or an out designation. The two guys that are out, and it's not a surprise here. Well, let me put one guy. Jordan Phillips, you just spoke about him. Still out. He's not come off the 21-day window yet. So, he's the kind of guy the Cowboys let it play it out and then just let him be out for the rest of the year. I don't know. But right now, Jordan Phillips, with the wrist, full practice all week, out for this game because the Cowboys have not, got him off the 21-day window, which means we'd have to release somebody to have him on the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, the other guy who's missing this game 100%. He is out for this game. Micah Parsons.
We heard Jerry's comment from earlier where he basically said, it's kind of a long shot for him to play anyway.
Yeah, and, again, Micah Parsons was going to be a long shot to play. And he had not practiced this entire week. And I'm sorry, one other guy that was out, Deron Bland, also out. So now we're missing Deron Bland, a cornerback. Now, Kalen Carson looks like he's good to go, but now we don't have Deron Bland at all for this game, which, again, no Micah Parsons, no Deron Bland, neither defensive starter / star practice this week. Neither of them are going to play in this game. So that's 2 big losses for the Cowboys, and our defense. Then those are the 3 guys that are out. Shitload of guys questionable right now for the Cowboys. All right, and let me start off with the guy that maybe you had kind of talked about throughout, Trayvon Diggs, and that tear in his calf. Right, he has a calf injury. Trayvon Diggs, as was said by Jerry Jones and others, Mike McCarthy and others, that he has a calf tear, but he's questionable for the game. That's our other cornerback. We're really light on corners. And he's a game-time decision, all right? So, rookie...
They're obviously really hoping he's ready by then.
Shit. Right now, Kalen Carson is our starter, number 1 guy. No Deron Bland. Maybe no Trayvon Diggs. And I guess Jordan Lewis, but he's not an outside corner. He's a slot corner, nickel corner. So, that's the situation right there, guys. Not looking good. When it comes to Trayvon Diggs, you said it, baby. McCarthy said there's no specific drills we need him to do. But he was much better today than could have anticipated, and he's doing everything he can try to get ready for Sunday's game. So I guess it's the best news possible for him there. He's questionable with a calf injury. But you know who else is questionable? Eric Kendricks is questionable right now with a shoulder injury. Zach Martin's listed as questionable right now with the shoulder injury. Linville Joseph, defensive tackle, also questionable right now with the back injury. And Nick Vigil at linebacker missed the last game. He's got a foot injury. He's also questionable. Let me just say this. Nick Vigil did practice all week. No, I don't see him playing again. Again, light at linebacker. You can say that again this week. Kendricks was limited all week. He should play.
Light at linebacker.
Corner.
Lighter or at corner.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole defense is just going to fly away.
Decimated. So, cornerback, like I said, when you look at questionable, Trayvon Diggs is questionable, but he didn't practice all week. He probably won't play this game, guys, is my expectation for him. Linville Joseph is limited 2 days, so he'll probably training to play. Everett Kendricks will probably play limited. And same thing with Zach Martin, who didn't practice the first day of the week but was limited the rest of the week. So, Zach Martin will play, Kendricks will play, Linville Joseph will play, Kalen Carson's going to play. But then you got guys, I think, like Nick Vigil. We know Micah's out, Bland's out. Trayvon Diggs, the biggest question. I guess the only guy we got to wonder about is the guy right now is going, Trayvon Diggs. He's the question mark, the big question mark for the game. Everybody else we kind of know.
Yeah.
We know which way they're trending. And honestly, right now, Trayvon Diggs is trending out for this game, in my humble opinion.
And I have to be honest, the fact that he's even a game day decision, possibly, to me, it is a little bit kind of crazy. But yeah, I do think that even outside of the erring on the side of caution, I just don't think that he's quite ready yet.
Yeah. So
or will be ready yet, I should say.
Yeah, it's just a lot of banged up guys here for the Cowboys. Once again, with already guys that we talk about these guys right now in this little group, but you forget, some guys haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten. You forget that, we have, of course, guys that are out for the year, suspended as well, right there. You got guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, another leader, who's also out along with Micah Parsons. And, and you look at on defense, yeah, but you got offense too here, right? You got issues with young guys on the offensive line, but you also got Brandon Cooks, who's also out, still until next week. So, even though we did see Brandon Cooks, on the rehab cords this week and in practice, so at least he should be ready by the time we get to the Eagles there. So we'll see what happens. But right now, that's the situation for the Cowboys on the injury report. Now, I do have. I don't know if there's any comments, but I'm going to go fly through this, like hopefully we fly through the Falcons. Their injury report. A very long list all week until the game time designations. Everyone's kind of good to go, guys. 2 guys are out for them. That's J.D. Bertrand, an inside linebacker, and also Rook Ohonoro, who was, by the way, put out on injury reserve, I think he was. So both these guys, he's actually a defensive lineman. So if you look at this, just for a second, two guys that play basically, one guy right in the middle, run stop, another guy who's an inside linebacker, run stop. So run stop, 2 run stopping type guys in the middle, out for this game, no matter what for the Falcons. 3 guys questionable for them. Troy Anderson, an inside linebacker. Another run-stopping inside guy. Questionable. He has a knee injury. He was limited all week but was full in practice on Friday, which means he's probably going to play. Same situation for Drew Dahlman. Their starting center right now. He has an ankle issue. Limited all week but full practice on Friday. Questionable, though, for the game. And another offensive lineman, Chris Lindstrom, who did not practice the first day, limited on the second day on Thursday, and then full practice on Friday as well, also questionable. 3 guys questionable. In my opinion, all 3 guys play this game. So, again, outside of the 2 guys ruled out, everybody plays for the Falcons, in my opinion. So, again, the big name is Chris Lindstrom, starting offensive lineman. Questionable for the Cowboy game. Falcons enter this weekend against the Cowboys with 3 players as questionable, but 2 of those 3 questionable guys, as I said, are starting offensive linemen. If for some reason they don't have these guys, we might have a shot to get some pressure on them. But if they're playing even banged up, with our banged up defensive line, it's going to be hard to get pressure on them. Rookie linebacker J.D. Bertrand is out for this game. Rookie defensive lineman Ruku Oronoro as well out for this game. Those 2 rookies are both starters. They've been declared out for Sunday. And they also have a guy, Justin Simmons, of course, with the hamstring. He's actually listed as the backup, but we know he's a starter type safety in the league. Limited went to full practice on Thursday, back to limited on Friday, and he has no game time designation, so he's presumably ready to go against the Cowboys as well. They have pretty much a full team to go against the Cowboys. I want to go back to rookie Onhuroro, who's now was injured for this game, was ruled out, but also was just put on IR. He's obviously out for 4 games, but that's not the important part of this. Who do they elevate? I should say elevate, signed. Does his name sound familiar, maybe? Rashaan Evans.
I mean, yeah, obviously that name sounds familiar.
Cowboys starter is missing there. I mean, the Falcons starter is missing a linebacker. They need a little more linebacker depth with someone like Rashaan Evans, who, of course, was a Cowboy last year. He was added to the 53-man roster. So he was not an elevation. He was just a signing, just a signee, just a complete, 53-man signing. So with them having to put J.D. Bertrand, ruled out, and then having the other guy out, on IR, that's how they fill that spot there. Also, their starter at inside linebacker is Troy Anderson. Like I said, he's questionable for this game. Missed the previous 4 games due to knee injury, but he has been trending to come back. So that's the way it's looking like for the Falcons. Now, for this game against the Falcons, and, let's put it up on the screen here. For this game against the Falcons, the Cowboys are going to draw the Fox crew, Fox Sports here, of Adam Amon, Greg Olson, and Pam Oliver. The first time all year the Cowboys do not get the number 1 crew, which would be the Tom Brady crew. This would have been the Tom Brady crew. If the Cowboys were a little better, we might have actually got the Tom Brady crew, if you wanted to say that.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. The first time all year the Cowboys are playing a game not broadcasted by the top crew by that network. Now, let's talk about how do the Cowboys beat these Falcons. Is there any way possible that the Cowboys can beat the Falcons this week? I mean, I don't see it really being
extremely hard.
With all the injuries, with all the malfunctions going on here, whether it's coaching, front office, or Zeke, you call them quote-unquote leaders, it's going to be hard for the Cowboys to win. But I'm going to break down a couple possibilities for us, and I'll do it as quick as possible. This is running, we'll try to run this in for the night. And, big shout-outs, by the way, to the man, the sponsor of the week, Mr. John Luna. He's the man that dropped the love tonight from above. Gifting memberships, dropping the love. Not even a Cowboy fan representing it here. Not once, not twice, 3 times in a row for a whole month representing as our sponsor of the week, and trying to be a 4-time gifting champion back-to-back when it comes to the gifting leaderboard. He's in the lead there as well. Big shout-outs to him. Pat Pfeiffer, the queen of the Cash App, representing it this week, and King Knight still holding it down with 54 points on the stream boss. Little Sam Williams, who's out for the year. Plus, right now, currently suspended, even though he's out for the year. Shouting everybody out in the house. Appreciate all the love and support on that side of things. Now, Falcons game here for the Cowboys, Week 9. Some matchups and key matchups to watch to try to win this game. Again, tough season for the Cowboys. This is another tough game for the Cowboys. Offensively, Atlanta has a lot of weapons that could be a matchup problem for Dallas and our defensive players. On the other side, the Cowboy offense, if we can get a little blocking, a little better offensive scheme, a little more consistency from Dak, we could actually see some success against the Falcons. Middle of the road, I'd say they're like average defense. They're giving up almost 25 points a game. The Cowboys, again, haven't proven themselves of beating any good teams, and the Falcons are definitely classified as at least a good team, if not a very good team. So a game the Cowboys, if we can win a couple of the key matchups, it could be a game that could sways our way. If not, it could be a blowout, and it could be really embarrassing. And like you guys said, some of you guys said, it could be the end of our season. Now, one of the major things I just want to talk about overall for this team is turnovers. It's killing the Dallas Cowboys, among other things, but that's one of the biggest things. We're 3rd worst in the NFL, -8 turnover differential. I think the Raiders and Tennessee Titans have -13. We've given up 9 interceptions and 4 fumbles against the Falcons, specifically against these Atlanta Falcons. Dak Prescott is going to have to avoid putting the ball in the other team's hands. Let me just put it this way. He's thrown 2 interceptions in each of his last 3 games. Dak Prescott is off right now. He has 8 of the Cowboys' interceptions, had 9 the entire 2023 regular season. Not like Dak Scheme off, Dak off, offensive line off, everything goes off. Atlanta, though, here's some news. We're going to talk about this, guys. Atlanta is in the NFL's bottom half. They're below average when it comes to passing yards allowed. Represents a good chance for Dak to attack, bouncing back, attacking the Atlanta defense in the air, which I think is very possible for the Cowboys to do, but Dak cannot make dumbass mistakes. Now, as I said, McCarthy needs to get a little more wild and creative. We got to take care of the football. I just talked about that. But what about some of McCarthy's, down and distance situations? The Cowboys offense has the worst success rate, meaning run or pass, the worst success rate on first downs this year. If you have bad success on first down, it's doom for the rest of most of your drives. Unless you have the best players across the board at every position, you ain't having a chance. We have only been successful on first downs 32.5% of the time. Guys, that's a third of the time. Less than a third of the time we've been successful on first downs. That does not set up a team with having long drives or successful drives ending in touchdowns or points at all. What's more is that the Cowboys have a league low 22.8% rushing success rate on design runs that come on first down. So when we run on first down, basically 1 out of 5 plays are deemed successful when we run on first down. That is the worst in the NFL, guys. This is the problem with running the ball. It's just we're very predictable.
Bad at it. We fucking suck at it.
We're bad at it. We don't have maybe the best running backs at it. Even with Rico doing well, the other guys are not. The scheme is not good. Blocking's not good. This is, again, overall, this is the second lowest rate by an offense in a season since 2016. Not the Cowboys. By an offense. This is bad. This is not just the players or the rookies or Dak. It is a scheme thing. Now, that's first down. Why are there some positivities when it comes to third downs? Because the Cowboys offense have a third down conversion rate of 40%.
Probably because we end up in third down situations so fucking often.
Well, no, baby. No, we convert third downs 40% of the time. That is 10th best in the NFL. That is good. That means that we rebound from the league worst first down, horrible blocking, running plays, and calls by the offensive coordinator. And let's call it who it is, Mike McCarthy. Horrible first down plays, whether it's whoever's fault it is. Mm-hmm. And third down, we're second best in the NFL. I'm sorry, 10th best in the NFL. While the Falcons allow third down conversions on defense 39% of the time. That's the third worst in the NFL. So if there's a place if we can set up for better third downs, the Falcons they don't do a good job on third down conversions. If we have long third down conversions, anyone could do well. But my point is that, any defense can do well, but our offense has horrible first downs. And then we somehow on third downs we convert 10th best in the league. Falcons third worst on defense in the league at stopping third downs. Cowboys also have scored the 7th most passing touchdowns this year. In the air, as you said earlier, baby, McCarthy said the air is the way to go, the quarterback. Passing, everything goes through the quarterback, and mostly passing is the way to go. We have the 7th most passing touchdowns this year. The Falcons have allowed the 5th most passing touchdowns in 2024. So another possibility to attack through the air there. Now, as we talk about this team going, and more specific about positions or players, Dak Prescott has completed only 46.5% of his passes against man coverage this season. And you got to remember this: all passes against man coverage last year, he completed 66%. Guys, he's dropped 20% this year in man coverage when it comes to completing passes. Is that Dak Prescott sucking? Oh, is that what it is? Is the receivers maybe not getting separation? Is the play calling? A lot of these things have to be, including Dak, right? All these things have to be thrown into this. This drop-off of 19.5% is the largest decrease among 22 qualifying quarterbacks from these last 2 years combined. This year, Dak has thrown 4 interceptions against man coverage, 7 touchdowns against man coverage, which is, by the way, the 4 interceptions is tied for the most interceptions in man coverage with Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy in the league. So he's tied for first with Brock Purdy and Mahomes with most interceptions in man coverage. Of course, again, he does have 7 touchdowns, which is good as well. But all of Dak's 8 interceptions this year have come on throws beyond the sticks. So we're forcing the ball down the field into tight windows. By the way, this leads the NFL. All interceptions, but nobody else has made this many interceptions down the field. Throughout all of the 2023 season, Dak only threw 5 interceptions in the whole year with this same situation beyond the sticks. And he had an NFL high 30 touchdown passes. Dak has a tight window throw percentage beyond the sticks this year of 34.9%, 35%. That is the 4th highest rate in the NFL. And this is up from his mark of last year of 25%, almost 10% increase of more tight window throws for Dak Prescott. We're making Dak's life 10% harder than last year, which is a big jump, guys. It is one of the biggest declines, you know what I'm saying, to help a quarterback. Let's say we've taken away Dak's help by 19.5% in a way. It's incredible, and we've heightened his difficulty by almost 10%.
I mean, I think insane. A great way to compare it is your boss comes to you and says, hey, we want you to do the job you're currently doing now, but we're going to give you a 20% pay cut, and on top of that, we're going to give you more work to do.
Well, except he got a pay increase, but yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, pay increase with like more jobs to do with less help to do it with, sure. You know? So, but the Falcons, now in this matchup, let's talk about matchups. The Falcon cornerbacks have a line in off coverage which is defined as 5 yards or more of cushion. An NFL high 78.4% of the time. So that means they don't play a lot of press, a lot of man. That helps the Cowboys, right? And when you look at the Cowboys, who does it help the most? More than Dak even, is Jalen Tolbert. He leads all receivers on the Cowboys when it comes to off-coverage receptions. He has 17 receptions in off-coverage and 200 yards in off-coverage. Leading the Cowboy team, even more than CeeDee Lamb. So when you got a man situation, you want CeeDee Lamb. When you want an off-coverage situation, you want Jalen Tolbert. I'm just telling you guys some of the trends here that we got to look for in this game that we can use and/or to win. But, of course, you can never forget about CeeDee Lamb. Because CeeDee Lamb is going to be the main mix here. That we got to unleash him in the secondary of the Falcons. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, hopefully syncing up. We saw a great game from them this last week. He had 13 catches, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But it's going to be difficult to try to replicate this every week. Let's be honest, right? And, they definitely need to continue to try to target each other. We need Dak to target CeeDee Lamb and to continue connecting if the Cowboys want to have any chance of winning. We got to go through number 88. But, right now that's the only way of winning, which is kind of the issue with this team. We need other ways of attacking than just number 88. So nobody else has stepped up in a real way this year. Let's be honest, right? We got injuries. I know, no Brandon Cooks, but whatever. It's not like he was doing much. We don't have separation from receivers. And even CeeDee Lamb and Turpin and others are not really running their patterns with the oomph and to get success and separation in coverage. So right now, CeeDee Lamb ranks. I'm going to say this. Right now, CeeDee Lamb is great in the sense of he's responsible for 9 of the Cowboys' 18 first downs, I think, in last week's game. So obviously heavy usage is good for CeeDee Lamb. He ranks right now 3rd in receiving yards, 613 receiving yards in the NFL. 3rd in targets, he has 72 targets. And 9th in receptions, he has 45 catches this year. Also, he's ranked 12th in touchdowns, only with 4 touchdowns in the air right now. But my overall point is that we need to get CeeDee Lamb involved in this game. The more involved he is, for the Cowboy offense, is more difficult to slow down. When the more CeeDee Lamb dosages you're throwing at them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So more CeeDee Lamb means a better chance to win the game, as we know. Look, running back to the running backs, and again, they ain't no Zeke this week. There's only a Rico Dowdle spotting with some Dalvin Cook sprinkled in and some Deuce Vaughn and Hunter Lipke. But, baby, here's the Cowboys rushing this year through week 8.
Okay.
We're 32nd in total rushing yards.
Wonderful.
Yards per game average, we're 32nd.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yards per carry, we're 32nd.
Wonderful. Keep it good. I'm just saying, I guess I'm going to get my next jersey. It's going to be number 32.
I'm telling you this. We have no ability. Rico, he's getting over 4.2 yards a carry. So he's still positive. He's one of our positives on our running game. We don't use him enough. What, 8 carries a game? Shit. So we'll see. Dalvin Cook gets in the mix. No Zeke this week. So, but the struggle doesn't stop there. Yes, I could say yards per rush. Our offense is 32nd, but it doesn't stop there, baby. Our offensive red zone touchdown percentage, 31st in the NFL.
Oh,
no red
zone. Breaking the trend.
Quarterback QBR, total QBR, 24th in the league. So Dak, that's on him. And what about offensive efficiency, which means scoring points? 22nd in the NFL. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But let's flip it over to defense. Because we talk a lot about our offense. How about Zimmer's defense? Right now, guys, in the red zone touchdown percentage, we are 32nd in defense. We give up touchdowns the most in the NFL in the red zone. Also, efficiency as a defense, we're 31st in the NFL when it comes to efficiency. Defense, overall, 31st out of 32. We allow opposing QBR 29. We're 29th in the league at allowing QBR, a good high QBR. That's like what, third worst, fourth worst in the NFL. Wait, third worst in the NFL, and we are 26th in yards per rush allowed. So we allow the 26th most yards per rush allowed, guys. We allow the 29th most QBR in the NFL. We are the 31st most efficient defense, and we allow the most red zone touchdown percentages. This is horrible.
Boogie said, I'd like to see that fourth quarter Dak in the first quarter, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just on Dak. It's his entire team. It's the play calling. It's the way this team is run. The Cowboy defense, though, the Cowboys are the only team in the NFL to allow 44 or more points twice this year. That's not good for this defense, guys. And, I look, and you got to look at the scheme maker here right now not working out for us, and Mr. Mike Zimmer. The current, let me drop him here. There he is. Mike Zimmer, who right now the Cowboys defense right now is operated in base defense, which is a 3-4 or 4-3 defense, at the second highest rate in the NFL, which is very predictable. Let me just let you guys know. 44.5% in the NFL. Throughout all of last year, the Cowboys just played 38 snaps. Not 38%, 38 snaps the entire year in a base defense. It ended up being, 3.7% of their total? And the second lowest rate in the NFL. We were much more I don't know why we're supposed to be disguised with this guy. He's not disguising us. Quinn disguised a lot of things on this team. 38 snaps in basic defense and in base defense in a 3-4-4-3. With Zimmer, we do a 3-4-4-3 44.5% of the time. We did it 3% of the time last year. Also, the Cowboys have used nickel defense at the 5th lowest rate in the NFL, which again is what Dan Quinn did, a lot of heavy nickel with 3 safeties and two corners. But the Cowboys have used nickel at the 5th lowest rate. 52.3% of the time we use nickel, which is the second lowest rate in the NFL. I'm sorry, 5th lowest rate in the NFL so far this year. And it's significantly higher than their usage of nickel all of last year. We used nickel last year 24.7% of the time. That's it. So the Cowboys went with heavy nickel, a lot of the safety to help our linebacker woes, which cost us in the playoffs. But we were able to hide a lot of these issues throughout the season. Here, we're not hiding any issues. We're completely exposed. And unfortunately, Zimmer's at the head of this here. So the last 3 things here about this defense and against this offense. Somehow Zimmer, the good news about Zimmer, he knows Kirk Cousins well. Why? Well, he played in Minnesota. So he knows Kirk Cousins.
He's probably familiar with him the same way that
tendencies.
Maybe Dan Quinn might be familiar with our Cowboys and Dak's tendencies.
Yeah, that's coming in a couple of weeks. But Zimmer knows Kirk Cousins.
I just figured that would be a good
comparison.
Parallel.
Very good. And again, right now Zimmer knows Kirk Cousins well. But is that enough to slow down? He's still right now one of the league's best quarterbacks. In Kirk Cousins. These two met when, again, the current coordinator was the head coach of the Vikings. Zimmer, will need a solid game plan for the Cowboys to come out of Atlanta with a win or a defensive kind of, a good defensive showing. The mission is complicated as Cousins in his first year with the Falcons because he's living up to high expectations right now, signing in free agency with the Falcons. He has right now 2,106 passing yards in Atlanta. He's the third best in the NFL when it comes to getting yards. So he's going to put up yards against our broken secondary right now. He's connected for 14 touchdown passes. He has 7 interceptions. Kirk Cousins averaging 263.3 yards per game. So the Cowboys defense have allowed an average of 218 yards per game. So, hey, maybe can we slow him down? We got to get pressure. We don't have that pressure. We have a broken secondary right now. So right now, all six of Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins' interceptions this year, all 6 of them. Oh, he has 7 interceptions, but all 6 of his 7 have come when he is being pressured. So again, we gotta somehow. Are we gonna be able to get pressure on Kirk Cousins? If we do, we got a shot. But can we? Will we? Can Zimmer come up with something? I don't know if there is anything we can. Kirk Cousins has only a .182 winning percentage against the Dallas Cowboys. That is the lowest winning percentage for any quarterback that the Cowboys have played at least 10 times or more in their career. But Mike Zimmer's former quarterback in Minnesota represents a huge challenge for an injury-decimated Cowboy defense in this Week 9 matchup. So that's what scares me a lot here. Now, I will say this. Got to give shout-outs to Jordan Lewis because the Cowboys' defense has done very well against receivers that have played in the slot.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. And, again, as a whole, the Cowboys are allowing the 4th lowest completion percentage from the slot. 63%. That is the 4th few. Also, that's the 4th fewest completion percentage, but also they are allowing the 4th fewest yards per target from the slot. 6.8 yards per target in the anybody attacked or targeted in the slot, and also we have the Cowboys in the slot have the lowest success rate allowed on passes targeting the slot. We're number 1. When you target the slot, you have no success rate. Only 35.2% of the time has there been success attacking the slot. So, again, is it because they attack anywhere else and it can kill us? Is that why? Or is it that we actually are pretty solid with Jordan Lewis? I think it's a combination of both. But no receiver that we've played has had more than 50 yards when playing in that slot position against our nickel cornerback, mainly Jordan Lewis. Some safeties also. Mukuamu has played in there as well. You look at the Falcons. They have Drake London. He's seen 37.5% of his targets, mainly on routes from the slot this year. So that's the highest among the receivers, with at least 50 or more slot routes. That, my friends, is one of the important matchups to watch. Jordan Lewis, whoever's in that slot, against Drake London, their wide receiver. Drake London, number 5. He's mainly their right side wide receiver. He's an outside wide receiver. That's something to watch when it comes to his abilities. On the outside is one thing, but when he's in that slot spot, which right now Ray McLeod's the slot man, when they flip him and Drake London is in the slot, let's see how well he does then, because that's how they attack, and that's how we can stop them there. So that is an important matchup to watch: Jordan Lewis versus Drake London when number 5 is in the slot. Now, I also want to keep an eye on Donovan Wilson, who's had some real shitty games. Mike Zimmer, he's a defensive back guru. What is he doing? Well, we got to hope he can do something with what we got right now. Donovan Wilson's going to be matched up a lot, I feel, against Kyle Pitts, tight end for the Falcons. In back-to-back games, the Cowboys have allowed 2 touchdowns and also two explosive plays that were over 40 yards, both of these, to opposing tight ends. We had one go to Sam Laporta and one go to George Kittle. So while Donovan Wilson is not solely responsible for blowing those plays, he is largely to blame for the overall huge game that George Kittle had against us last week. George Kittle 128 yards against the Cowboys, and a lot of that was against Donovan Wilson. So either the Cowboys and Zimmer wants to rethink putting Wilson against tight end this week, which is Kyle Pitts. So Kyle Pitts right now, will he have a George Kittle type game? Do you want to risk it? I mean, it's going to be Donovan Wilson versus Kyle Pitts. I hope Donovan Wilson is ready, but that's a fearful situation there. You know, Kyle Pitts is coming off a 91-yard game, who he also caught 2 touchdowns in that game. So again, Kyle Pitts is more of a big wide receiver than a traditional tight end that Donovan Wilson is usually used to covering. So the Cowboys should treat him as a wide receiver more than anything this week, in my opinion. So Donovan Wilson against Kyle Pitts, that is a matchup to watch. And honestly, guys, I'm talking about these matchups. I have not even touched on maybe the biggest issue for the Cowboys. And right now, Donovan Wilson against Kyle Pitts, a major issue. Right now, no pressure on Kirk Cousins, a major issue. But the biggest issue may be stopping the run. I'm just telling you guys, our offense can do whatever it has to be. I guess our offense has to score like 50 points for us to have a chance in this game, because our run defense, and that's you, Zimmer, you got to find a way against a superstar, Bijan Robinson, number 7. And don't forget number 25, Tyler Aguilar, or I don't even know how to say his name right, but Algier, is that how you say his name? Algier. The Cowboys' run defense, guys, again, trying to improve, had a couple good games splattered throughout the season, but for the most part has been horrific. As I read to you already, offensively we're 32nd across the board. Defensively, we're 31st, 32nd pretty much across the board. So right now we got a dynamic running back duo that we had to meet here in Atlanta. And again, we thought it was going to be tough against the Lions when they had Jahmyr Gibbs and what was his name? What's his name? Montgomery. Boy, they kicked our ass, right? We failed miserably against that two-headed monster. We got a two-headed monster now, and that starts with Bijan Robinson. He's averaging 4.7 yards per carry, and he's just an electric running back, receiving running back as well at the backfield. You guys are gonna see him for the first. You'll be like, damn, this is why Jerry Jones wanted to draft him in the first round. Of course, he was taken in the top 10. And don't forget about their backup, number 25, Tyler Algier, 5.2 yards per carry. The man gets a lot of yards per carry. They're bouncing both these guys, a two-headed monster who's averaging basically combined 10 yards per carry. So another dynamic duo who are both averaging close to 5 yards per carry, if not more. Two-headed monster will definitely be a problem for the Cowboy defense. So you gotta look to Mike Zimmer. How do you fix this? You're going to try to stack the box? That's what we did against the Niners. We stacked the box. I'm just letting you guys know. And I think that's what the Cowboys have to do to stop the run. They have too many weapons on the ground game here that can just tear us a new asshole. So if they get their run game going, it pretty much ends the game. So don't be surprised if Zimmer stacks the box like he did last week against the Niners to try to contain both of these running backs. And if we can stop and slow down Bijan Robinson and Tyler Aguilar, if we can do this, or Algier, if we can stop both these guys and slow them down, both guys to under 100 yards, some miracle, if we can do that, then we can get a little bit of pressure on Kirk Cousins. We can hang in this game. So, baby, a couple quick comments. I'm done. That's all I got for you guys. There's not really any keys. Our keys to victory are things that we can't do. And we haven't really seen happen for the Cowboys. So I'm just being honest. Hey, we don't bullshit you.
We have so many things going on with this team. It's like the keys to victory, just like
survive.
Look like jailhouse keys.
Just survive is all I want. Just survive, and hey, you never know what happens. Stay close.
Yeah, no injuries.
Yeah, no injuries. Stay
no
close.
More injuries.
But a lot of these things have to come down to Mike Zimmer. Has to do better, and we'll have to see from him if he can do that.
Yeah.
For this game with a lot, again, I can't get all mad. I mean, he's going to have his hands tied behind his back. It's going to be a tough game against a good passing offense when it comes to Kirk Cousins, a good running back duo, which is going to be tough to stop on the ground and in the air.
Not to put more pressure on the offense, but defensively, like you kind of
no pressure on the
mentioned,
on the
I've
quarterback.
kind of written off. I don't want to say I've written off our defense. I'm just saying that my expectations for the defense could not be lower. But our offense still has, like Jerry said, a lot of meat left on the bone. So, to me, seeing McCarthy get his head out of his ass and make our offense look even semi-passable, that, to me, is something that I have to see in this game. But we'll obviously have to wait another about 10 hours to see what we've got. So, with that said, guys, it is time to do the final shout-outs here. And as we do, make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And, of course, hop in the Discord link for that's in the description box down below. A very big and extra special thank you to the people representing on this board currently, like the man John Luna, 3 weeks in a row as your sponsor of the week. Thank you so much. Also showing the love as the membership gifting champion.
Yes.
Congrats to him.
And he's also the gifting leader right now, and the overall leader on the board as we head into the big finale in about 12, 13 hours from now, right? So, big shout out to John Luna there, 19,
right? Bossing that stream around with 54 points.
Hell yeah. And do not ever forget the Cash App Queen, Pat Pfeiffer, representing there and top spot right now. I have to check the numbers if Jet Li is a leader right now on the
why do you go
well, the point is we'll get it ready for tomorrow either way. If he is, he's only up by like 4 in there. So hey, Pat Pfeiffer, she'll be there game day. She might, you never know. She might want to jump into a back-to-back Queen representation. We shall see. But big shout outs to Pat Pfeiffer there. Nobody leading there right now. King Knight there. And John Luna taking over the other parts of the board. Also, the big shout outs today go to John Luna for dropping 5 gifted memberships and a little bit of love as well on top of that sprinkled in there. Big shout outs to our winner last month of our jersey raffle, our monthly jersey raffle for the star over everything and weekly winners. And John Luna's got himself 3 raffle entries plus a star raffle entry. He might go back to back as a winner as well here for another Houston Astros jersey. Who knows? But either way, big shout outs to him and everybody who dropped the love here today. I also got to shout out Darren Posey, right? He's in the Navy Blue crew as well. And everybody who's dropped in here in the chat. So, baby, why don't we chat it up and tell me who's in the house and what do they say as we roll on out of here and get ready for game day, baby. You see it. Cowboys at the Falcons week 9. It's on.
Matt Batten, have a great night. Much love. Josh Furch, that is a very optimistic prediction there. I hope we drop a 40 burger on him.
We don't even give predictions anymore at this point, right?
Yep. NDA and Boogie.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Take it easy. We have Lost in Translation, much love, saying that we should be using Hunter Lipke more.
Well, as a pure running back, scares me a little bit, but,
I think Aguilar 04, much love. If Dak can't run it, I don't know what to say. So, MF Doom, thanks for rolling with us. Brandon Jays, have a great night. Apocalyptic Cowboy. Yeah, we also would not be surprised if Zeke is no longer on this team.
Yeah, give it another week or two. We'll see what happens. Maybe not even that much.
Right, DFW Country, LT, have a great night. GM representing it here. We have, of course, Skeptical Fan, always stay skeptical.
I see that, man.
Shout out to John Luna as well.
John Luna, D-Link in the house.
Ooh, D-Link.
Big shout out to him,
shout out to you.
An old school OG in the house.
Texas Twister, stay safe out there on the road. That's actually as far back as I can go, at least on my side.
Well, baby, let them know why we do this each and every night here in My Cowboys Family, or at least every week, every month, every year, almost 8 years.
It is that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here, we're always repping that star over everything here on MCF. See the shirt, it says MCF, but what's over that? That star, baby. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow for Game Day, continuing our 8 seasons of Game Day live stream reactions. But, baby, here on My Cowboys Family for 7 years and beyond, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. This year, probably not. Guys, thank you for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you for dropping your love from above. That means John Luna. Thank you. And we'll see everybody here in 12, 13 hours for game day kickoff. Cowboys at Falcons. Please join us for that. Drop in and we'll have the lights, camera, and action with our passion at full strength and cheering on our Cowboys, win, lose, or draw. You know how this goes. Thank you all once again as we relock and reload for Game Day live stream reaction tomorrow. Baby, before we can officially drop out of here for the night, what do we got to do?
We got to drop
I was just testing you. I was just testing you, baby.
We gotta drop the beat.
God, see, we fool each other sometimes. Hey, it's a wrap here on MCF, My Cowboys Family. You could be anywhere. You're here with us. You see the background. We left the bar. We're going to the game. It's time. Yes, let's get the wife and myself out of here. Whoop! And you'll see us representing what's going on tomorrow here with the camera on, the passion always on for these games. It don't matter if we have 1 win, 2 win. Right now we're 3-4. That's our record. We're playing a good Falcon team tomorrow. Join us for the live stream reaction coming in a half a day right here on My Cowboys Family. Let's just keep stacking wins, right, D-Link? That's what it's about. Guys, you can be anywhere you're here. Listen to our news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys right here for another MCF Cowboys chat and specifically a preview here, a Week 9 preview, 2024 season Week 9 preview with our Dallas Cowboys traveling to and playing at the Atlanta Falcons here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We got our gear ready. McCarthy's nervous. Hopefully we burn some Falcons up, cook some Falcon, pluck some Falcon feathers, and we'll see what happens from there. But here on MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. You guys in the house, keeping it going. Hit the like button for the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to all videos. And make sure you don't forget to, follow us on Discord. This is link in the description. You follow us on all social media, specifically X, Twitter, and all that good stuff at My Cowboys Family. And, of course, see us right back here for the game. Kickoff style against the Falcons. Week 9. Let's go. Stay safe. Much love to all. We'll see you soon. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.